Hey guys, this is it. This is why you clicked the video. We are going to talk about Detective 1000. We're going to talk about our favorite stories of it and why we like it. Maybe one that we didn't like as much. And also it's Batman's 80th birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Stay tuned. Hey everybody, and welcome. We are the Jersey Comic Crew. We're the ones who talk your favorite comic books, TVs, pop culture, but forget all that. Today we're talking about Detective 1000. As always, I'm Rob Moran, and with me...
Kris Heller. I almost started too soon.
That's fine. And of course, this has spoilers for that. You know, sometimes men come too fast.
By saying things? Yeah.
Yeah,
I totally agree.
you arrive too early.
Yeah, by speaking.
Happens. You know who that doesn't happen to? Batman. That's right, because he's 80 years old and he's going strong, that old geezer.
Was that a dick joke?
About Grayson? I'm smarter than I thought.
You're not as dumb as you think I am.
That's right.
What? Yeah, no, but Detective 1000 is out. It's awesome. There's a lot of story in it. There's a lot of different creative teams. Probably one of the biggest collection of massive creators I've seen in a book in a long time, since Action 1000.
Oh.
But yeah, it's this creative team might have been bigger than Action 1000 in my opinion.
Oh, I think it is.
Yeah.
I want to say it is.
I think
I want
it
to
is.
wholeheartedly say it is. So we're going to talk about a couple of our favorite stories. So this, for those of you who don't know why there's a couple of stories, this is essentially an anthology series, well, anthology book. So it's multiple stories within this. We're not going to talk about all of them. We're just going to talk about our favorite ones and then some more than others.
96 pages, square bound. So
That's right.
Yeah, it's every story is about 7 to 10 pages. So yeah, what you want to go first?
So the first one I want to talk about was the first one in there. It's called Batman's The Longest Case. So that was with Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo on art and writing respectively. So this has to follow a case that Batman has been going on for years. So each one takes him on a different track. So this honors the detective side of him, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, all right, I have to find out who made the first visible ink and go there, who did this and who did that. All these kind of ways of mystery and odds. And it was great to see him go through all of that. And at the end was really the big reveal.
Yeah.
So you're reading the whole story. You're getting into the Batman's mindset. Like, all right, this is really hard. What is this? The person who created this must be smarter than Batman.
And a huge villain.
A huge villain, more dangerous. And you open up, and there's a bunch of people sitting at the table. We see Detective Chimp. We see The Question. We see Hawkman. And we see some regular white guy. I don't know who he is.
We see, like, the detective. We see Hawkman and Hawkgirl. Yes, Bobo's there. Detective Chimp. And yeah, you're right. Question is there. That's right.
Yeah.
I forgot about Question. Yeah, it's like almost like this library of cases that have never been solved. So, like, urban legends, myth legends,
Cosmic,
cold cases, like murders that have never been solved. Disappearance in acts, like everything.
Speaking of which,
Yeah.
in real world, you know
Yeah.
they figured out who Jack the Ripper was?
No, they did not.
Yes, they did, because of forensic evidence. It was the one they suspected, like first suspected, and then they actually proved it was him.
That's crazy.
fact.
Is there like a documentary?
Well, no, there's articles and stuff on it that you can read.
I want to see like a.
I'm sure they're gonna make one.
Because like the Netflix stuff is awesome. Like, have you seen like the Ted Bundy tapes?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But we're talking
Anyway,
about
Batman. Batman.
So yeah, it was great to see. They gave themselves like their own name. They don't really have a name. They just like, yeah, well, you just solve all this stuff, and then
We're the detective.
Batman like looks and like in awe of all these other cases. So pretty much like you have to be to a certain degree of detecting level to get into this. And they're like, oh yeah, this is a group effort. We put all these together. And Bubba's like, yeah, you like the one? I put the one in there for you, right? It was just a nice thing, paying homage to him being a detective. And I thought it was very strong to open that book. It's one of my favorite ones.
Yeah,
from this.
it was really awesome. Just the thought that like not only that, like Batman has a line in it where he's like, "You all knew and didn't tell me," kind of thing. And it's like, well, you had to figure it out yourself. That's your induction. Like that's how you get inducted. And he's like, man, I thought I was like the best detective. Like clearly not, because like look at all these cases, and like there's cases that go back thousands of years, hundreds of years, and it's like literally a library of cases that have never been solved. So it's basically like a playground for Bruce Wayne.
It's great.
So it was a great story, and obviously Capullo's art's amazing. Snyder, it's just a great way to start that book off.
So let's talk about I think it's your favorite, right?
100%.
So what is it?
Yeah, my favorite was the one right after that. Kevin Smith's story with Jim Lee. Obviously, you know the art's going to be perfect.
Yes.
and it's called Manufacture for You. So basically, it's another very detective-esque story, but in a different light.
Okay.
It's a story about this man who's looking for a specific item.
Mm-hmm.
And there's kind of this underground kind of gun shop where in the back he has like a collection of all these villain items from Batman, right? So like everyone who's fought Batman.
How cool was that one shot of the hammer, like the Joker's
so
hammer, and the handle was his nose all the way out?
Yes.
I really liked that. I thought that was really clever.
Really cool. So like Jim Lee got to go nuts with the art.
Oh yeah, he must have had a fun time.
And also we get Bruce Wayne disguised as a completely different person.
So when we seen that guy buying the thing, did you know that was Bruce?
I didn't right at the beginning.
I had an inkling, but I was like, I don't think so.
After like 1 or 2 pages, once he goes to the store and is like, "Hey, like, do you have this stuff?" I was like, "Oh, that's totally Bruce."
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to the back, and in the back, he's looking for like he's like trying to talk him into buying all these like cool weapons from like different villains that Batman's fought that have been left behind that he collects and sells them basically on the black market. And then he goes to like this gun rack, and you see like all these really cool guns. Like one was like from Harvey Dent, and another one was from Joker. And then there's like a plain kind of like just silver gun. And we find out that's the gun that killed Bruce Wayne's parents. So he buys the gun and he's like, "I'll give you to it for $1,000." He's like, "Here's $1,500, thanks."
Yeah.
And he takes the gun back to the cave, and he has this great moment with Alfred where Alfred's like, "Listen," he goes, "I know you like trophies, like the penny was one thing. I threw my back out helping you get that freaking dinosaur in here."
Right.
He's like, "That is not going up in this cave."
What did you think he was going to do with it?
When I saw it, I thought he was going to put it almost like
a display
in a display case, or like almost like when in Iron Man 1 where Pepper gets Tony the box of the original arc reactor, and it's like Tony Stark has a heart kind of thing.
100%.
I thought it was going to be something like that where it's like a reminder.
Mm-hmm.
I did not see at all what was coming next, which was like Bruce literally melts down the gun, and he's going through a monologue of like how this gun changed his life forever. Obviously, he's Batman. How that night changed his life forever. Like this machine that wasn't even pointed at him ruined and changed everything. So he melts it down, and I'm like, oh, he's gonna destroy it. Like so it could be hurt by no one else again. But it's Kevin Smith. It's way smarter than that. It's like for me, I would have been like, oh, like he destroys the gun, and that's it. Like he destroys it by melting it down into like a solid metal plate, like a thin sheet, which he then embeds in his costume, covering his heart. So it's basically becoming a bulletproof.
He wants to make a line I liked a lot in this was he wants to make that metal pay and work hard for everything else. So it's going to take that abuse that protected his life.
Exactly.
That one thing that set everything in motion is there to continue it.
And now
I really liked it.
And now it's become a part of his suit and armor inside of his suit. And it was brilliant. I was crying like a baby.
See, when I read it,
I didn't expect it.
I didn't think I was like, all right. I was like, well, as soon as I saw it, I was like, all right, this is the story that made Kris cry.
Yeah.
And it made me cry.
I think
it was good.
It hit me. Well, I'm also a baby, but it hit me like
you
so
heard it
hard.
Here.
Yeah, totally. I didn't just see it come. I just didn't see it coming. I thought it was going to be like a clear cut, like, oh my God, this is so cool. Like he just took the gun and it's done. It's destroyed. Like it'll never hurt anyone again. But the whole like making something like the thought of the most terrible thing in your life and using that to protect your life or make it a positive, I thought was brilliant. And there's like a podcast line in it, of course, because it was Kevin.
Yeah.
So yeah, kudos to Kevin. That was an amazing story. No one really gets Batman like he does, in my opinion. Even the writers. I think it's so much more personal for him. And he's just so good at pulling those heartstrings, man. He's so good.
That's what he focuses on. He's like, what's going to make the biggest emotional impact? Yeah. That's what I want.
Because he cries over everything, so like he's going to be like, I'm making you fuckers do it this time.
He's like, he probably cried writing. He's like, hon, look how good this is. He's like, can you stop? They need it. Jim Lee's waiting for it. Come on.
Seriously. So like, and of course, like you get Jim Lee art too.
It's good.
You can't beat it. To me, that was the best story in the book. Personally.
So next up, we have the Legend of Knut Brody or Knut Brody.
Knut Brody.
Knut Brody.
Knut Brody.
All right. So this story I liked a lot. It has to focus on a dumb henchman, right?
Yes.
And then he pretty much like sabotages everybody's tactics. So like they talk about Harley was trying to rob a bank with Joker. Dude try to hit Batgirl and then accidentally slapped Harley in the face and stopped it.
Mm-hmm.
He set Poison Ivy's house on fire. He messed up with Mr. Freeze.
He fell asleep as the guard watch.
Exactly. And then the whole time I'm reading this, and I was like, how funny would it be if it was like Batman the whole time? I was like, oh, it can't be. Batman's right there. Like, who would it be? And then at the end, we see, all right, everybody knows about him. We can't be Mr. Brody anymore. And I'm like, oh. They're like, yeah, they all took turns being him, and they stopped Riddler, and kind of sabotaging. It was fun, and it was a way to get into the criminal organization.
It was great.
I thought it was a fun little thing, and then Damien's like, not before I get to play him,
and he's like, no.
He's like, I'm Mini Brody, I can do this. It was such a fun little book, and that just kind of shows the funness of it, right? That kind of shows how fun the book can be, and working with the family.
What's also really smart too, because Paul Dini wrote it, and Dustin Nguyen drew it. And for those of you who may or may not know, Paul Dini is one of the creators and writers and storytellers of the Batman animated series, which is the greatest animated cartoon of all time. And he has done this entire Batman thing a billion times, right? He knows the character inside and out. And to kind of in a different light that I don't think I've ever seen before, something like this, where you have a character who has nothing to do with Batman, who has nothing to do with the family, being all of them take turns and kind of pretend to be him to sabotage everyone, the villains.
Yeah, that's cool.
To me, it's so smart because when if Bruce was playing Knut Brody at the time of when he fell asleep and they got past it and blew up and the police robbed them.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's when Batman gets to sleep.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Because he's out all night. During the day, he has to be Bruce Wayne. When does he get to relax? To me, them relaxing is playing this character.
You know what I mean?
So
that's a good way to look
Bruce
at it.
falling asleep as Knut Brody is him
he actually fell asleep.
He actually fell asleep because he's exhausted.
Yeah.
So that's the way I saw it, but I thought it was really smart. Really cool.
So what's the next one you want to talk about?
Yeah, this one to me personally was my least favorite. It was Return to Crime Alley.
Terrible.
It was a Denny O'Neil and Steve Epting story. And Denny O'Neil is one of the best writers in DC history. I thought it was a little pessimistic and really dark as far as just kind of crapping all over the character of Batman in a celebratory manner of what the book should be.
This story on its own is not terrible. It's actually not bad. I liked it.
Yeah.
But it didn't belong in this issue, and the reason for that is because this is a celebration of Batman, right? It's supposed to look at the good stuff and all that kind of things of that nature and look at him in a different angle. This kind of just makes him feel bad for being Batman, like Leslie Tompkins, who's an old, craggly old lady, right?
And that's another issue DC has. They really don't know how old Leslie Tompkins should be, right? Because we just saw her in the detective story leading up to this, where she's not old and decrepit, right?
No.
She's maybe in her late 50s, early 60s. This one, she's 75, 80.
Yeah.
So they really don't have a specific age.
It's whatever the story needs it to be.
Her. True. But yeah, basically the story is it's the night that Bruce returns to Crime Alley every year, and Leslie Tompkins is always there for him. She's very anti-Batman Bruce Wayne-ish towards him. Mm-hmm. And she's kind of you need to get over this and kind of move on and kind of stop being so angry all the time. And it's and he's but I have a job to do. This is my job. And these kind of thugs come up and they're oh, look at this idiot in a Batman costume.
That's not the real Batman.
That's not the real Batman. Let's go steal her purse.
And I was and she's oh, boys, go home. He's no, they don't understand. They don't understand pain.
Yeah. Ah! And then he beats the shit out of him, and she tells him to stop. And he's but they pulled a gun. They were going to kill you. So it was a very interesting take on Batman, is Batman being the problem of psychosis, of mental illness, of anger and rage and unchecked rage, and kind of wild, willingless rage. I don't know. Personally, I just didn't connect with it. I thought...
I agree. I'm with you. I'm in the same boat.
Especially all the stories before, either being Snyder Capullo, great detective story. Smith Lee, great emotional heartstring story. Dini Nguyen, great, funny, quirky story.
Yeah.
And then kind of this being the darker than dark, kind of F you to Batman, and all it kind of outweighed all the positive he's done at Batman, and just kind of focused on you're a messed up piece of crap kind of thing. So I was just kind of with it.
Next, but no, well, not next book. Next story I want to talk about. One of my favorites. It's not my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
but it's probably like 2 or 3.
It's really good.
It's called I Know. It's by Brian Michael Bendis, and this talks about. It's from Penguin's perspective. We see old Cobblepot,
old man Penguin,
meeting old man Bruce.
Whamp.
I love the whamps.
With the whamp.
Whamp.
Was he farting or official, like penguin sounding?
I think every other one. It was
old
fart.
People fart without knowing.
It's fart noise. Fart noise. Whamp. But he just did it all together.
I know you are.
Whamp.
It was like the SpongeBob
thing. So yeah, he was saying, "I know who you are" to Bruce, right? And Bruce is the old man in the wheelchair, and it flashes back to when him and the rest of the villains of Gotham got together, right? They kind of create their own league or their own thing, and they're trying to figure out who was Batman. They were like, oh, he has to have enough money. They're like, oh, what about Bruce Wayne? They're like, no, Bruce Wayne and Batman have been in the same room numerous times. They can't count him. They look at other things, and Cobblepot's there like, no. He didn't tell the other ones. He's like, no, this is Bruce Wayne. He's like, I hold him as a baby. This all makes sense. He probably did this, and he's going to launch this attack, right?
Yeah, he figures out, and the way he figures out I thought was brilliant, too, where, like, all of them are kind of trying to figure out, like, he's like Joker, Riddler, Two-Face, trying to figure out who Batman is, and Penguin's kind of, like, quiet to himself, and he leaves, and he's walking through the rain, and he goes to a restaurant, and Bruce Wayne's having dinner with a woman, and then the bat signal comes on, and Penguin looks at the bat signal and looks back, and Bruce Wayne's gone already. So, like, that's when Penguin, like, figured it out. Was like, oh, my God, it is him. To me, that was, like, hands down in this whole book, the most powerful image of this book was Penguin looking to the symbol and looking back to an empty chair where there was, like, this billionaire, playboy, philanthropist, like, everyone knows his name, this powerful human being who already has power in his own right. Being there, looking at the Batman symbol, looking back, and the chair's empty, I thought was the most powerful shot of this whole book, as far as the
more
art.
than him, more than Kevin Smith when he was melting down the gun.
Yes,
interesting.
More than that, to me, the gun was so symbolic of personal Bruce Wayne issue. Because, again, that's a Bruce Wayne problem, that gun, right? That wasn't a Batman problem when he was a kid. To me, the Batman symbol and the looking over and he's gone that's all you need to know about Batman.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's like when Steve Rogers is getting beat up in the alleyway and he picks up the trash can lid to defend himself and says, I could do that all day. That's the same thing to me as that scene. Gotcha. with the logo. I thought that was brilliant.
But it gets to a point he was going to launch this attack on Bruce Wayne's banner. Had all of his penguins ready, had all of his creatures ready, and then he does it. He stopped. And then it flashes back to when he was flashes forward to when he was an old man talking to Bruce. He's like, I know I couldn't do this because if I did this, I would die.
Yes.
If I miss and I don't kill you, I destroy everything. I destroy your tether to the human world.
Yep.
And this is why this book became so powerful. Like, okay, Batman without that tether is a monster.
Yep.
There's nothing to hold him down, no morals. He would just kill and stop and destroy all of the crime. That means I would die. And he's like, I know for years, and I just want to let you know, I win. I'm smarter than you, and I know. And then Bruce zaps him with this little electric chair like a little old man. He's like, hey, you like, yeah? And he shocks him. And he's like, I've known you for years, Cobblepot. And they're like,
I've
what?
known you
They told me you couldn't talk. I think that might have been I think this might be my favorite.
That is it's so good.
It's tied with this one and then the last one, which we'll get to.
I love this one. This is probably my second favorite after the Kevin Smith story.
Mm-hmm.
I love that he zaps him. He's like, I knew you knew the whole time. He goes, I was counting on you knowing. He goes, it didn't matter. Because Penguin knew that him knowing didn't mean anything because he was also protecting Penguin as Batman. Like, Batman protected him too, and Penguin was the only villain to realize that. Like, it wasn't always, we got to get this because Batman's going to show up. No, like, he's protecting me too from everyone else, because everyone else in that room would kill or screw Penguin over for their own gain. And Batman would protect him.
Yeah, they have a common enemy.
Exactly. So, like, that's why Penguin is so underrated, because he does things in the shadows, yes, but he does things a different way because he knows when push comes to shove, he's going to need Batman.
Whomp.
So like that was brilliant. And the Zap thing was cool, and the old man Wayne.
The Zap thing is great because I was like, if I was Bruce Wayne and a little old man, I would totally decked out my little old man wheelchair. I'm like, I have a Zap one here, I have a missile here,
a missile.
I have
a missile, old man.
You seriously think that old man Batman doesn't need a missile?
I mean,
of course he needs a missile, Chris.
Just hop in the tank then. Jesus, just getting the.
What if he can't walk?
Dark Knight Return. Well, that's why you lift the chair.
Who's gonna lift the chair?
The wheelchair that turns into a tank.
Oh, that'd be great. Can you imagine?
A one-man mini tank. He just
drives. It flies. Yeah, a little airplane comes out.
It could happen. It's Batman.
You know what? Cobblepot definitely has his own wheelchair with the umbrella comes out. They have like a little.
Oh, yeah.
They definitely have wheelchair wars. Here's the flamethrower. Batman's like, nope.
It turns into Star Fox. They're chasing dog fighting.
Maybe this is just what I want in my wheelchair when I get old.
Yeah, I think we all want that.
Even if I can walk, I want one. And I'm gonna deck it out. I'm gonna put cards in the spoke and everything. I'm gonna be really cool. I always tell people, I was like, I can't wait to be old. I'm going to just mess with people. I'm going to have so much fun. I would never be home. They're like, Rob, what are you doing today? I'm going to go to Target. What are you going to do? Return set at Walgreens. Why? Because I can.
Because I can. Walk around naked. Why? Because I don't know where I am.
I don't think I could do that. Because then I know I'll get arrested. There's a limit to old man.
I don't know. If you're senile.
You think you could get away with being naked and old man?
I think if you're old and senile, you can get away with it.
Like how old? Like 95?
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
95. You kill somebody. They're like, all right, good job.
they're like, you're dying in a day anyway.
Yeah. Like, who cares? All right, fair enough. But talked about the next.
So the next story, Jeff Johns comes back to write a Batman story with Kelly Jones, who's the big '90s artist. Did the Nightfall Batman series.
What is the Nightfall series for those who may not know?
Bane breaking the Bat's back.
Mike loves that.
Yeah, it's a great book.
Because he's a monster.
So this one's called The Last Crime in Gotham. This was a very sad story, but a good sad story.
I don't want to say sad. Somber is a better word.
It was somber, yeah. It was kind of like, it kind of had no hope at the end. But basically the premise is we're looking into the future at Batman's last ever case. Mm-hmm. It's him and his family. Like, he's married to Catwoman. Damian is like an older Robin. They have a daughter named Echo, who is like the Catwoman Batman daughter.
I thought it would be Huntress. I don't know why.
I thought so.
Different.
I mean, yeah, I could see Huntress. I guess they want to do something different.
The Bat Dog.
Yeah, and Ace was there.
By the way,
Ace was great.
Let's figure this out real quick.
Okay.
Ace is there.
Yeah.
This is obviously years in the future, and they have a daughter. Yeah. The daughter's like what, 16, 17?
17,
Let's
18.
say 17. Yeah. Ace is alive. I mean, Ace is alive now. This has to be Ace Jr.
It could be Ace 2, Ace
right?
3,
okay.
Maybe. Yeah. Unless they put Ace in the Lazarus pit.
Why do we not have a story of putting a dog in the Lazarus pit and turning it into a monster?
Into a fucking monster, like a rabid dog.
I'm going to call Paul Dini. He's going to write that one for me.
Go ahead, yeah, get him on speed dial. So
how crazy would it be? Imagine. Hey,
I got an idea for a Lazarus Ace. It's gonna be he'd be like click.
You thought Red Hood was bad? Wait till you see this. This is gonna be the Red Bone.
Red Bone.
Right, go ahead. Tell them about
like basically they're going at like all the villains are basically done. Like Joker just died in jail. All the villains are like either senile and like don't know what the hell's going on anyway because Batman's beating the shit out of them for the past 30 years. So they have this last case and Gordon's like a really old man. And he kind of comes in. It's like all the rest of the villains that were alive were just killed by that. They figure out it's the Joker's son, and he's kind of having
at a birthday party.
At a birthday party, they kind of figure out like they had the Joker's son in the background, kind of like with all these cards. They're trying to figure out who it was, and Bruce was having like Robin and Echo figure out stuff as like a detective and kind of training them. So yeah, it was like their last case, and they figured it out. It was like they went and got him, and basically Batman's like, Gordon, like, we're done. We did this. Go
there's
home
nothing left.
Go to Barbara. Go home and like.
Because most of the time they were like, there's no crimes. What are we gonna do?
Yeah, and then Bruce is like, I'm gonna go home spend time with my family and enjoy the rest of my life, kind of thing. And we're like, oh, okay, cool. This is how the Batman story will end. And then you turn the page and it's Bruce Wayne sitting in the cave as Batman, like current younger Batman. And he's blowing out a birthday candle. So this is like everything we just saw was his birthday wish.
It's a wish
of what he wishes would happen for the future.
When I was reading this,
which was very somber,
I was I thought it was all right, and I was like, all right, this is another weak story until that last panel, and he blows up the wish. I was like, oh.
And everything just like clicked and made sense.
This is a wish. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So that was, I thought, very heart-touching. Personally, I thought it was awesome because of that last bit made it really good.
So, next bit issue, one more story I want to talk about. I keep saying issue, sorry. So, Batman's Greatest Case. This is by Tom King and Tony Daniel on art. Loved it. Pretty much it gets the family, and I knew I was going to love it when I saw the family together, right?
Oh, that shot is gorgeous. That Tony Daniel, it's amazing.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. But he gets all the Bat family, including Catwoman, on the roof, and they're all talking about like why they're there, and
it had to be awkward.
Yeah, well,
right?
I don't.
Maybe, or is this later on?
This is outside of time. Don't worry about that. Just take it for how it is.
Got you.
And yeah, Batwoman, isn't she like a murderer? But like whatever. So like everybody's there, and they're all trying to figure out like why they're there. Jason's like, "Oh, I'm getting kicked out."
That was the best.
And he's like, I think I'm getting kicked out for the thing." And they're like, "What?" They're like, "Oh no, don't worry about it."
He's like, "I'm totally getting kicked out."
And then they're all like interplaying. Like Barbara is talking to
Kate Kane.
Kate Kane, thank you for that. Mm-hmm. And she's like, "How old are you? Why are you woman and why am I girl? We got to figure this out." And she's like, "Well, I've been to war." She's like, "I dated Dick Grayson." And I was like, "That's enough." He's like, "I was Batman once," right? And like they're all like,
he makes everything about himself.
Yeah.
She's like, "You see what I'm talking about?"
They're all playing off each other. Even Damien's like, "Yeah, Grayson, I would like to meet up with you more often." And I was like, "Oh, that's nice." Yep. And then Duke's like, "Why is everything about you?" And then he's like, "Oh, maybe it's about you." He's like, "You know what? No, I think it's about you. It's fine." Yeah.
It's okay.
Duke's like, "I'm new in this. I don't want to."
And Tim's kind of just there, like being Tim.
Yeah, Tim's just chilling there. Oh yeah, and his girlfriend wants to make out. You want to make out a little bit? He's like, "No."
He's like, "How do you make out a little bit?"
He's like, "If I show you, is that count?" He's like, "No, we're not doing that."
He's like.
And then Orphan, and then the other one we're talking at all.
Orphan and Harper were talking, and they were like really quiet, and they were like, "I like you. You don't speak much." And it's like, "Yeah, I like you too."
And then all that, like they're
and Ace
again, the Bat Dog, man. We need
barking.
more of this dog.
Ace was agreeing with Barbara.
Yes, and Alfred was there, and this whole time we see Bruce is at like the funeral, right, and everything.
Well, no, he's at the grave.
At the grave. Yeah. Thank you. My apologies. And they keep going back and forth between like him doing that and like the inner monologue of them talking and everything. Batman takes a batarang, slams it against the wall, and they take a family photo.
Yep.
And they're like, "That's Batman's greatest case. Like now he has a new family." Mm-hmm. And he takes that beautiful photo. By the way, art is fantastic. You have to look it up. I'm sure we're gonna have it up somewhere in this general area, but.
I'm giving them. Oh,
okay,
framing
it. I thought you were voguing. And then he puts it on his parents' grave.
Yeah,
like he has a new family now.
Yeah,
right?
Kind of like "Don't worry about me."
Exactly.
Like, I have a new family,
that was great, and I was a big mush. I like this. I think a little bit more than the manufactured for use for the Kevin Smith, just because I like seeing the whole family element together. It's more about him and the family, not just him.
I'm the opposite. I'm a classic Batman fan of like Batman's a loner. He's by himself.
Yeah, I know.
That's what he is.
You're definitely like, I don't like any of the sidekicks. I don't like any of me. I'm like, yeah, add more. And you're like,
there's like 47. Yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous.
You're like, I like Dick, kinda. That's it.
Grayson.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Grayson.
It's 20. There's no if you like whatever you like what you like, nobody's gonna judge you.
I do like Dick Grayson.
There we go.
He was my favorite Robin.
Good.
Yes.
I'm not gonna do that. All right, so let's. I'm gonna let you talk about the last one.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Yeah. The last one. The last one's really good. The last one is actually the main story, which it was really cool the way they did it. Usually they put the main story, like the creators who are currently doing the book, the first arc of the story, like they usually make it the first. They save the Pete Tomasi, Doug Mankey story to last. And this one was called Medieval.
Real quick, I love the art here.
Oh yeah, Doug
my
Mankey's art.
God, this is the best art in the whole book, for me.
Okay,
for me. I know you're gonna say Jim Lee.
No, I think this is like up there with Jim Lee's art.
Okay,
it's that good. I still think Jim Lee is hands down the best. Capullo's obviously amazing.
All right, good thing. Tell us what happened here.
But to me it's Lee, Mankey, Capullo, and then maybe Malieve. Anyway, Daniel too. Daniel's amazing. So yeah, like Tomasi and Mankey are just upping the ante again. Their final story was the main story, which we'll see also in Detective 1001 and ongoing. It introduces the Arkham Knight.
There we go.
And
from the video game.
And we do not think it's Jason. We think it's a brand new character.
So throughout this whole thing, we see Batman fighting his other villains, right?
Yes.
Beautiful splash pages. We'll show you maybe one or two here. But like it just goes into like, oh, I've seen Batman. I know he's this. And it kind of goes into the monologue of what Batman stands for.
Mm-hmm.
And there was this one page we were talking about it like it's like a single word at a time.
Yeah.
It's like hope, brave, this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
Very good, very powerful. And then the big reveal is medieval at the end.
Yeah, and the Arkham Knight is clearly narrating this whole thing, right? Of like what's wrong with Batman, like why he's not the hero Gotham needs, why he is flawed, why he isn't the best of the best.
He also says why he is good, though. He does.
And he mentioned why he's good. But this, to me, that monologue means it's someone he knows.
This felt to me like...
It felt personal.
Pretty much a summary of Batman.
Yeah.
Like this is perfect for this issue. We see him in some of his greatest fights with everybody. He
like
fights
Bane, Joker.
He fights for justice no matter what the race or ethnicity. You see him fighting the women. You see sometimes absolute brute force is necessary when you're dealing with someone who wants to just destroy everything. With you see that with Bane.
Yep.
How he has to be tactical, and you see Joker, and you see how skillful he is. He's fighting Ra's al Ghul, and it's just like looking at every aspect of it in a beautiful way. The art really helped. Did such a good job. Like this is what we talk about comics with perfect art, with great writing. It makes a great combo.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end, we see the Arkham Knight, very different from the video game, more medieval. He has a sword here, a little bit built broader, shoulder wise, and everything.
Yeah, he's a little more
bulky,
like jacked, and his armor is way more like knight armory than like blackout SWAT armor. I would say it was more of the game feel.
So you think this is someone we know?
I think it's someone we know because everything, that whole issue of it was very personal, and to me it was more than skin deep.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It wasn't like what in that world what you would observe of the Batman, because you don't run into him every day. You know what I mean? So to me it's someone who knows him personally. But again, it still could be anyone. I don't think it's Jason. I think they're going to go a new direction.
It's 100% not going to be Jason.
I think Tomasi's got the golden reins to kind of do whatever he kind of feels with the character at this point.
I was trying to figure out who this could be, right? Who has that big broad style? And like I'm thinking it's somebody new. Yeah. But it might be somebody from the League of Assassins or League of Shadows when he was first getting trained.
I would be okay with a new character
from that world.
I would
or
be
just
okay,
a new character.
No, I would be okay with this brand new character, and it ties. What if it's the kid grown up that we've seen in like Tom King's run, with that kid who's been copying Bruce Wayne's life?
He's still.
Is he still too young?
Yeah, he's young in the current time.
Yeah, that's right. He's still young in the current time. I don't know.
Like you're wearing the Dark Knight's Metal shirt, right? Which is a very nice shirt.
Thank you.
If that event didn't happen with all the other Batman from the multiverse and stuff like this, I would say this is another Batman from a different world.
Gotcha.
But now I'm like, it has to be somebody different.
Yeah, I think it has to be from the main DC universe. Someone, I think if it's a new character, I'm more than sure that Tomasi will connect it with something that's happened in their past that they were in.
I just hope it is not Azrael.
I don't think.
I think it'd be a cop out if they do Azrael, like the whole Saint of Dumont and all that.
He's in Dark. He's in jail Dark, right?
No.
Wasn't he in Justice League Dark for a while?
Not in this run.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I feel like Azrael's his own character anyway.
He is his own character, but I'm just saying.
Because the Saint Dumont society is too big, I think, for this.
No, I understand, but like I'm saying, like that's medieval. That's the Holy Roman. That's like the Paladins. That's like the Holy War fight. This is more medieval. Mm-hmm. So I'm just hoping they don't just do the cop out. But Azrael was good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was on Detective Comics earlier.
He was.
That's where you're getting mixed up.
That's where I'm getting mixed up.
Yeah, like with the whole Clayface and everything.
That's right. He was.
But I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I don't either, and I like it because
to
me, Detective Comics at its core,
I think I know who it
is a mystery. Like every arc to me, reading Detective Comics should be like, hey, this shouldn't be easy to figure out.
Do you think it's Hugo Strange?
No.
Okay.
I think Hugo. It's too small for Hugo. I think this is like. I don't think Hugo has the fighting ability that this character is going to have.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah,
I'm just thinking if Hugo got bigger, maybe.
I hear you. I just think personally, like as far as medieval and the Arkham Knight, I think this has to be a new character.
Okay.
Because if it's someone we know, it's not going to feel as like. To me, I'm comparing it to the first time I read Hush, where like, where like the way it was this huge detective story, we didn't know Tom Elliott at all until we got revealed that it was Tom Elliott, and then they went back and were like, this is why this is important because he grew up with Tommy Elliott and blah blah blah.
It might
blah.
be the same kind of thing.
I think it's a similar concept, but it's not Hush. But it would be like almost like Tomasi's Hush.
All right, to wrap this up, Kris.
Yes, sir.
Your favorite story from this is the manufactured from use, right?
Yes.
Kevin Smith and Jim Lee.
Yeah, second best would be I Know with Bendis and Malief.
For me, it is Medieval. I just love the homage and the art really carried it. So from Pete Tomasi and Doug Mankey, I think The No is a very close second because I just really like the way that old crotchety old penguin was. How does this compare to Action Comics 1000? Is this better? Is this worse? Same level?
I think it's
for you
personally. I think this is better.
Oh, thank God. I was going to say it's better. I was ready for a war. I was like, he's going to say that was better.
No.
This was better for me. A lot better.
And I'm a huge Superman fan. But no, like, honestly, I think overall the entire talent, I think the one blemish is the Denny O'Neil story. I don't think Action had a story that we didn't like that much.
Yeah, they were all middle of the road.
They're all middle.
They all felt like
or really good. Like, some of them were really good in Action, and the other ones were kind of just, like, plain.
Yeah, they felt like the Knut Brody story is like that plain middle of the road, and so was some of the other ones we didn't mention. They all felt like that.
Like for Action, I love the car
one.
With the car one where they relate the Action Comics #1. I loved the
Lex Luthor chess one.
That's
all I remember.
Amazing. I love the story where like Earth is blowing up finally, and Clark goes
back
to the farm
that was really
to
good.
say goodbye to his parents. That was very heartbreaking. As well as the Pete Tomasi story that was in Action. He's was writing that at the ending too, and so I think Detective really upped the ante for 1000, which you kind of expect, right? It's Batman. There's a lot more Batman fans than Superman fans too.
Yeah, Batman's their biggest character.
Yeah, and they're gonna throw in like again, Kevin Smith is in this book. Jim Lee's doing art. You know, Steve Epting is a great artist as well. Like, there's a lot of crazy characters in this.
So I think that wraps up this Detective 1000 review. Love the book. Loved the celebration of Batman. Happy 80th birthday, Batman. This is the year of the Bat. In 20 years, when I am 27 again, it's going to be 100, and I don't know. We're going to do something crazy.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be great. But, yeah, it's the 80th birthday of Batman. It's crazy that it's been this long. I'm just happy to be around for, like, 1,000 issues of a comic. There's only been one more, and that's Superman Action Comics.
What's the next one?
Happens.
Marvel?
No.
Avengers?
No, I believe it would be Wonder Woman. Sensation.
What is she at?
In the late 800s, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
There we go. Wonder
So
Woman.
the next couple years, we might be I think Wonder Woman's next.
All right, guys. That wraps up this episode of the Jersey Comic Crew podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure to follow us on the social media links down below, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If you want to listen to the audio version of this, head over to iTunes or Spotify. And that wraps it up for this episode. I'm Rob Moran.
I'm Kris Eller.
And we'll see you next week.
Peace.